had this realization recently that I don't think my soon-to-be ex-husband liked me as a person. And I know that sounds wild, so stay with me. I've been separated and living apart from my husband, who I was with for 16 years. We were married for 14 of those years. And when you're coming out of something that long, you don't just grieve one thing. You start looking back at the whole relationship in pieces. The good, the hard, the stuff you excused, the stuff you couldn't explain at the time, the things your body knew before your mouth had the words. And grief doesn't always look like crying every day. Sometimes grief looks like making breakfast, answering emails, doing laundry, and then randomly realizing, oh, wait, that's what that was? That's kind of where I am right now. I'm not just grieving the end of the marriage, I'm also grieving the version of the relationship I thought I was in. The version of myself that just kept trying. The version of him I kept hoping would meet me there. And one of the simplest truths I've had to sit with is this: I don't think he liked me as a person. Now, I do want to be careful with that. I'm not saying he hated me. I'm not saying there was never love there. I'm not saying I was unlikable. Let's not hop on that raggedy little train. That's not where we're going with this. What I mean is, when I look at the pattern of the relationship, I think he liked what my presence made possible more than he liked the fullness of who I was. He liked the life I helped create. You know, the stability, the kids being cared for, the bills being handled, the house being stocked, the loyalty, the comfort, the emotional labor, the fact that I was always thinking, planning, adjusting, remembering, fixing, filling gaps, and finding the thing everybody swore was not in the house until I opened the cabinet and there it was. He liked the ecosystem, but did he like me? That question hurt. Because liking somebody is different, right? Liking somebody feels like curiosity. It feels like, I want to know how your mind works. It feels like, tell me what made you laugh today. It feels like your feelings don't automatically become a problem to manage. Your needs don't always land like an attack. Your growth doesn't feel like a threat. And for years, I would say to him, I don't think you like me. That's not a fun sentence to drop in the middle of a marriage. I know that. Nobody wants to be minding their business on a Tuesday and get hit with the emotional equivalent of a folding chair. I get it. But I wasn't saying it to be cruel. I was trying to name something I could feel but couldn't fully explain yet. Because there's a difference between somebody needing you and somebody enjoying you. There's a difference between somebody depending on you and somebody knowing you. There's also a difference between somebody wanting the benefits of your presence and somebody actually liking your personhood. And that's where a lot of women get stuck, because we're taught to measure love by how needed we are, right? If he comes home, he must love me. If he depends on me, I must matter. If he trusts me with the kids, the house, the family, the details, the hard stuff, then surely that means I'm valued. And look, sometimes it does. But sometimes being needed just means your labor has turned into part of the system. Sometimes it means his life works better with you in the role you've been playing. That doesn't always mean he sees you or that he enjoys you. That doesn't always mean he likes the parts of you that don't serve him. And I think that was the part that finally started to click for me. I didn't just want to be needed. I wanted to be enjoyed. I wanted to feel like my thoughts mattered, like my laugh mattered, like my softness mattered, my voice mattered, even when it wasn't convenient. Like the person I was becoming was something he wanted to know, not something he had to tolerate. Because being tolerated inside a relationship will fuck with your head. You start trying to become easier to like. You make your needs smaller. You soften your tone. You wait for a better time. You explain the same thing 12 different ways because maybe if you find the right words, the person will finally care in the way you need them to. And then one day you realize maybe the issue was never that you didn't explain it well enough. Maybe he just didn't want to know you that deeply. That sentence is fucked up. I know. But it also gave me something I didn't expect. Clarity. And toward the end, there was this moment that really made this land for me. I asked him straight up, have you ever heard men speak adoringly about their wives? Like men who will tell anybody who will listen how much they love their wife, how brilliant she is, how funny she is, how much they value her, how she makes their life better, not just easier. And he said, yeah, I've heard men talk like that. So I asked him, did you ever consider why you didn't talk about me like that? And his response was, I just thought something was wrong with us. Verbatim. And I just sat with that because that answer told me so much. Not, I didn't know how to say it. Not, I should have done that more. Not, I did feel that way, I just didn't express it well. Just, I thought something was wrong with us. And shit, something was wrong with us. But the thing that was wrong wasn't just us. It was that I had spent years trying to feel cherished by somebody who could recognize adoration from a distance, but didn't seem to feel it for me, or at least couldn't access it for me. And listen, that's a hard thing to say out loud about somebody you'd been married to for 14 years. Because if somebody only values you when you're useful, you could spend your whole life auditioning to be loved as a person by somebody who only knows how to value your role. You keep trying to prove you're worth tenderness, worth curiosity, worth care, worth being liked. But somebody not liking you in that way does not mean you're not likable. That was what I had to grapple with and come to. It might mean they only knew how to value the version of you that made their life easier. And I think this is bigger than just my marriage. A lot of men are taught to want women, marry women, build families with women, depend on women, and still not really make room for women as full people. They might want the softness, the body, the support, the care, the loyalty, the comfort, the home, the emotional labor, all of it. But then her feelings are too much. Her needs are pressure. Her standards are nagging. Her voice is disrespect. Her boundaries are attitude. Her growth is a problem. So what does that mean? Does he like her? Or does he like what she does for him? That's the question. And I know that's not a light thing to sit with, because when you realize somebody may have loved your role more than they liked your personhood, it can make you look back at years of your life differently. But it can also free you, because the simplest truth isn't always the shallowest truth. Sometimes the simplest sentence is the one that finally lets you stop over-explaining what your spirit already knew. I don't think he liked me as a person. And I'm gonna say this shit again. That doesn't mean I'm not likable. It means that I no longer have to audition for somebody who only valued me for what I could do for them.